facility was sold earlier this month after it went into administration in October. But others, like Sierra Rutile, which is listed on London's AIM market, appear to be weathering the storm. The company holds an estimated 911 million tonnes of recoverable minerals in its southwest Sierra Leone mine, used for making titanium. The shares closed up today 3.1%. Like other miners, it's seen falls this year, though the stock has recovered 29% during the last month. And I'm joined now in the Gherkin by John Cisse, who's Chief Executive of Sierra Rutile. John, very good to see you. How many people do you employ in Sierra Leone?
Well, including our contractors, just under 2,000 people.
Right. So how have you managed to run this business in a country that's effectively gone into lockdown?
Well, Ian, what happened with us, we got wind of Ebola quite early on in the game, and we were able to put protocols in place, like screening of our employees, awareness, which is the key ingredient in really fighting Ebola. So we had a massive awareness campaign with not only our workers, but the community at large, and our workers understand it's very important, first on a health basis, but also in terms of continuing to sustain their livelihood, that they adhere to the protocols that we had in place.
So how many people working for you out there are actually from Sierra Leone, and how many are contractors that you've brought in and out?
Most of our employees are Sierra Leoneans. We have just over 100 expatriate contractors and staff, but the majority of our workers are Sierra Leoneans who also live in the villages around our mine. So it was very critical for us to be involved on a community base to give the correct kind of awareness, instead of just looking at camped workers, but also people that live in the community, as most of our workers do.
Yeah. Now, what about you running the business yourself? I mean, you've obviously got to be here in London to talk to your investors, and then back in Sierra Leone to look at the operations. How has life been on that basis?
It's been a bit of a challenge, to be honest, because when the Ebola scare happened, certain decisions were made. For example, it was quite convenient. Sierra Leone is only 6 hours away from the UK, and we had BA flights. One of the first events that happened was BA stopped flying to Sierra Leone, which made life incredibly difficult for people like me, but other investors that want to go to Sierra Leone, but also they carried a lot of freight and business into the country, so that was a serious problem.
Right, well, Willie Walsh watches this show, so hopefully he'll see that and maybe start restoring flights.
Well, we'll hope so, because really that will send a real good signal, because the fact is that Ebola has not been transported into the UK by any patients from Sierra Leone. It's quite difficult. The facts don't necessarily support the fear.
Yeah. Now, the Liberian finance minister has said today that he expects the economy to contract by 0.4% because of the outbreak of Ebola.